I know that you're not what I would call flamboyant, boisterous. You're not a very boisterous or loud person, Mark. So it's different to think that we would give an entire podcast episode to you, like, 'cause that's sort of like, hey, here's this thing you don't really want to do, but maybe we could just still do it to be dedicated to you.
Too much attention.
So we were saying before the podcast that service management needs more kids, because I'm at a park and there's a pool here, and you'll probably hear some kids in the background.
Mm-hmm.
And I would apologize for that, but we agreed that the service management and IT in general probably needs more youthful spirit.
Yes. I think
it also needs more outdoors.
Yes. Now, it'd be interesting to see the future of work and where we end up. I mean, I like to think that the workplace in general will go away. Maybe in 20 years it will seem strange to actually go to work.
That's just a beautiful statement in and of itself. So, like, I have a unique perspective on this, right? Because I worked from home for years, and now I'm back into an office, and my boss says to me all the time, he says, do you like it? Do you like coming into the office? And that's the culture there. They're trying to make the office such an environment that you want to be there. You can't possibly think of not coming in.
Right, yeah. Well, yes. And I think it'll probably swing in both directions, because there's a lot of companies that are way behind the curve on that, right? So telecommuting in general is a novel idea for a lot of companies. So, and then there's some companies that are already swinging back, and virtual spaces will get more and more believable and augmented and all that stuff. So that should be interesting to watch.
Yes. As I keep progressing, because I'm not waiting. I'm not waiting for companies to catch up anymore. Yeah. I really, I'm not. So, like, what's hard is in my marketing role, a lot of times I'm working with clients, and I'll send them links to Google Docs, and I like, why am I doing that? That's just mean. You send them a Word doc because that is the only system they're allowed to use.
Right. What happens?
I'm still shocked that we are at that point.
So right.
It seems like an abuse site.
So you're not bothering to give a disclaimer anymore or apologize. You're just gonna do it and see what happens.
Well, no, I don't have to apologize. Well, I guess I do have to apologize, and I do apologize if it's harder to collaborate with me because I'm using modern technology. But that is my assumption. That is my default. I default to Google Docs because my assumption is that everyone uses it. And I was thinking about this today. I wonder if Google shares statistics about companies' usage of Google Docs.
Yeah.
Like, what if there's a scoreboard?
Well, I'm sure they do for official use, but there's so much unofficial use, and those are blurring together too. It'd be hard to track data on. I mean, because when you use Google Docs, it's not obvious that your company's using it, right?
Yes, unless you share stuff with your company email address.
Right, yeah.
Associated to it. Yeah. Like having that .com on the Google account, that says a lot about the business or the business culture. That's what it says a lot about.
Yeah. I think the interesting thing is people, especially in traditional companies, they don't even know where the line is for what they're supposed to do and not supposed to do,
Ooh.
I mean, how can they? It's everything you do on all of your devices is something. I mean, can you set an alarm for yourself on your phone? Of course.
Yeah.
But
is that okay?
Yeah, I would think so.
It's okay to set an alarm, but it's not okay to set an alarm about something that's proprietary. You name the alarm something that's proprietary, Oh, like let's say that one of our clients, let's say, is the U.S. federal government.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's an actual entity, but if it is, they'd want to keep that secret. So I couldn't have an alarm named U.S. federal government.
Right. But,
call U.S. federal government CIO or whatever.
Right. And do you get training on that? I mean, how many people actually know not to do that?
That's the difference between the good companies and the bad ones. The good ones, they do training, and they do it often, early and often.
Yeah.
And the really good companies, the training isn't painful. But because that's a heck of an investment.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, Farah, I love your glasses.
Farah.
Thank you. It's going to be really hard to hear, but I just had to at least come on for a couple minutes.
Hi. Where are you?
I'm in downtown Chicago, here for a wedding and a friend's graduation.
Awesome.
Is it windy?
It is. It's the Windy City.
Ah, thanks
So
for
the
coming.
reason
Walk away from the water fountain. That also might help.
We need
So the
more
reason-
water fountains in ITSM too.
the reason that we wanted to dedicate this episode to Mark was because he's announcing his retirement from this podcast, which is bittersweet, of course.
Yes. Yes. So this is my last show.
It's a bittersweet moment, isn't it?
Yeah. It's sad. I mean, it's hard to know what to do, you know? I love the podcast. I love you guys. It's just a tipping point, I think, you know, where I have to decide where to put my time, and I'm feeling a lot of momentum in some other things, and I have to get to it.
Yeah. That's why I named the episode this, Life is Too Short. So, you know, that's kind of, I don't know, that's something that I see often in the tech industry is people, they get closer to humanity and wanting to help humanity, and then there's a pretty far disconnect between technology and humanity a lot of times.
Yeah.
And I've struggled with it several times in my career where I just felt like I wasn't having an impact on the world. Like I couldn't change the world in my role.
Well, I think, you know, that's why I got into ITSM. I think I was excited about impacting people's lives, not really realizing at the time that's what I was doing. But you know, my focus has grown so much, and the breadth of what I care about is so much larger now. I really just want to help people deal with change, and the scope is bigger now too. You know, I mean, I don't want to be limited, so I'm trying to just blast open the door and see what happens. So
Interesting. Helping people with change, but you still want to work at an organization, assumedly.
yes, I mean, this ITSM is still my career, but I'm fortunate to work in an organization that's trying to do large-scale change in the world, and so that helps in terms of my profession. Personally, I'm trying to get involved with some new projects that really, you know, more creative, more directly addressing people's need for dealing with change. I mean, I can speak a little bit. So I'm right now I'm working on writing a show, kind of like a video podcast, but fictional, scripted, that deals. I mean, just imagine like a kind of like a podcast like ours, but in the future, dealing with some issues going on. How many people would need help just emotionally dealing with new planets we're discovering with other beings on them who maybe are suffering even more than we are? Or how many people would need help dealing with the fact that they've discovered that we live in a simulated reality and not a real universe? Things like that.
Wow, dude.
It's really fascinating.
Fun
Space
stuff.
age.
Yeah, I mean, but it's a cross between science, technology, humanity. I would even argue potentially religious principles.
Yes,
You know,
yeah.
I mean, it's
Exactly. Religious.
fascinating.
I have a show on religion in the future, gender in the future, economics in the future, all these kinds of topics. So it's exciting stuff, but it takes a lot of time.
So you'll send out the Google Doc.
Of course.
That's really intriguing. I can't wait to see it.
Thank you.
I would.
When you say scripted, do you mean to say that it would be something that you listen to, or like what medium?
I haven't quite determined yet, but I mean, obviously the go-to medium is just putting it out on YouTube as kind of a series show. But of course, it wouldn't be live; it would be scripted and and filmed like a podcast, but planned ahead of time, following a script. So
You
I'm
might be
writing
an actor.
Yeah, I mean, I'm writing it as kind of a regular TV series type of a thing. So
That's
That is just awesome.
yeah, I mean, we'll see how it goes. I'm accepting the fact that it may fail, but it's just time for me to jump on whatever I can do.
Well, it's entropy, dude.
Well-
Everything fails eventually.
and it's a natural cycle. But I think, I mean, it would be a disservice to yourself if you didn't try. So it's
Yeah.
good so far.
Thank
I'm
you.
very happy for you. I think that's going to be, it'll be good. It'll be controversial. I can't wait to see what Matt has to say about after hearing your episodes. We might have a hacking biz tech like analysis.
Yes, please. Well, and probably part of it is just getting older too. I just, you get a little more fearful of missing opportunities, and I love this show. I believe in what you guys are doing. I believe in what I've been involved in here. I mean, there's still so many people that need specific help in getting with the times and understanding what they can be doing. And that's the thing. Things seem to be changing faster than I've ever witnessed in my life, And I mean, from ITSM to just enabling businesses with technology, it's going to get even more chaotic before it settles down.
Well, I think there'll be a new norm that's defined because I don't think we'll ever go back to
No,
what we knew to be normal anymore either. So
right.
the Internet of Things has just transformed our lives as we know it, period.
Yeah.
So, well, Mark, I really just wanted to wish you the very, very best in your journey.
Thank you,
so
Cara.
excited for you. Sad. But we are totally stoked to see what you have to say, what you have to break out and do as an individual. So wish you all the best in that journey. I have to get to a wedding ceremony, and I'm still not in the dress.
Oh my gosh, go. Thank you, Clara.
But all the best.
Talk to you soon.
See you next week, Farah.
See you next week.
So
Matt.
that's a pretty good summary of the podcast. It's hard to know what to do, and you'd be doing a disservice to yourself to not try.
Yeah.
To not try.
Yeah.
Because I think that's really good career advice too. There's so many people in ITSM that just don't enjoy what they're doing, or even in just like app dev, generally speaking,
Yeah.
they just don't enjoy it.
Right.
And that sort of thing is, it's tougher to watch. I'd rather watch people fail at things that they love than hate the things that they're doing.
Well, I mean, you yourself just made a pretty drastic and radical change, I mean, you got to know when you're not doing for yourself as much as you know that could be done, and the world.
Yep. Serve yourself first so you can serve the world next.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, I'm not going to boot you out of the Slack channel. I want you to keep contributing there.
Oh,
If you see anything that catches your eye,
that's awesome.
throw it in the show notes. I think we should probably open that up for everyone. I mean, anyone who listens to the podcast anyway. It'd be great to see what other people are thinking and what news articles are catching their eyes, that sort of thing.
Right. Yeah.
But man, yes, new role. A lot of good challenges in my new role. It's really going 100 miles an hour. I've never been at a place that was so open to trying things and failing. Fantastic.
That's great. I mean, culture was one of your big drivers, right? I mean, you wanted a new cultural experience, and do you feel like you found it?
Just a better fit.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, exactly. Tons of announcements coming soon. We have so much stuff that's in the hopper. I can't wait to share it on this podcast.
Oh, cool. That's great. Well, I will still be a watcher and listener, that's for sure.
Always, Mark. If I know one thing about you, you are always curating.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Always watching. Because that's how you hack business technology. We'll see you next week.
Bye, everybody.